Hi, it's Shar. This is going to be a little bit of a long video. I'm going to tell you this now because I had my pre-trial today. And today is December 30th. And I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad. I'm mad because I feel that our system that we call justice is so corrupt. The people who are lawyers and judges just treat people like pawns when they're messing with their lives. And I feel that my abuser, who is a narcissist, that not only physically assaulted me, abused me in many ways, and made me have to change my broker and where I live and where my business is, and I've missed memories with my children. That today, after my pre-trial and talking to my attorney, these are my choices I have, is that I plead guilty to the plea deal of harassment. And let me share with you that just moments ago, I got more messages on Facebook where my abuser is sharing my story out there virally on the internet. So he's continuing to harass me with a no contact order in place. I plead guilty to harassment, 6 months probation, it's off my record. That's the plea deal for an innocent person. Okay? Or I go to jury trial and I risk being on the sex offender registry for 10 years. And I have 2 years of probation. And in the moment they said that, or that reality became apparent to me, for somebody who's never been in trouble before, my 23-year-old daughter looks at me and says, "Mom, I don't want you to meet your grandchild when they're 8. If I don't take this plea deal, I miss my daughter's graduation." If I don't take this plea deal and it goes to jury trial and I don't win, and I put on the sex offender registry, I lose my license for real estate. I'm put out of business. My townhouse that I just bought down the street from a school, across from a park, I can't live there. And so the court system is doing to me exactly what my abuser just did to me. Put me out of business, make me change my residence, and lose time with my family. And those are my choices. And I am having a really hard time with this as our justice system. These are my choices. And the DA knows that I'm a domestic abuse victim. But because they can prove their case, which is they have me saying that at the time of the phone call, 2.5 months after this incident, I knew Dax was 18, and am I willing to risk 12 people hearing all of that, seeing some of the pictures, or seeing the text message? Now remember, it's the same messages this guy sent to my children. And then have my daughter look at me and say, "Mom, do you realize that you wouldn't meet your grandchild until they're like 8 or 10. There's no choice there when it comes to my children. There's no choice. I will never gamble, ever. I mean, I take some calculated risk, but I will never gamble with their livelihood, with my time with them. That's not something that I have ever done. I never will do. I've always been very responsible, and that's why I have the kids that I have. But I am so mad right now. I'm so mad because those are my choices. I'm mad because I feel like the attorneys are in cahoots with each other, where it's like, you know what, you offer her this, I think I might be able to get her to break and do this, and maybe this, and maybe this, and maybe. Where's the justice in all this? Where's Lady Justice stepping up and saying, let's stop abusing the abuse victim, and let's go after the abuser, because he's continued to abuse me. It is still continuing to this date. I have a no contact order. He's violating the no contact order every time he shares this article. When he picked up the phone from the very beginning and called the news media, that violated the no contact order. I believe that when he called my ex-husband, somebody he never knew before, that's a violation of the no contact order. And I am the one who has to risk everything I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad because I had thought that eventually justice would come through, truth would reign, and that it would all make a difference. You know, the problem is that our criminal courts and our civil courts are siloed. They're completely siloed, separate from each other. They don't talk to each other. Because if they talk to each other, this would not be in a criminal court. This man went within 12 hours of being arrested and removed from my house after he put his hands on me and filed false, twisted charges against me. That when an officer calls you, we teach our children from youth, respect authority and tell the truth. I did both. And what I didn't know is that the officer was just going down his checklist of the 3 things he had to prove, which is that I knew he was 18 2.5 months after it happened. He doesn't have me saying that I know he was 18 at the time I sent a picture, because I didn't know he was 18, under 18. That I knew that it was pornographic images, which, as I said, I knew that they were sexual parts. That's what got me so upset, because I sent them to my daughter. And there's one other one I don't even remember. And if I continue to fight this and it goes to trial and I get convicted, it's egg in the face of my broker who went and got my license because I get convicted. And you know, when you get convicted, by the way, domestic abuse doesn't get mentioned in the trial. They're not going to allow that kind of stuff to be mentioned. It's just going to be very controlled. You ever wonder why the O.J. Simpson, how O.J. got off with it? It's because they did a really good job of controlling what could and couldn't be admitted into the court in front of the jury. Same thing here. They're not going to let the jury find out that I'm a domestic abuse victim, that I have a no contact order. They're not going to let them know that he sent those pictures to my kids. All of that stuff's withheld from them. And am I willing to play that hand? And the ones who pay the most are my children. We just want this over. My business, me. The attorneys still get paid, the judges still get paid. It's just a pawn, it's just a conversation. And I feel like from my beginning been designed to, regardless, it's not about the money, it's always about doing what's right. And I feel like I'm the last person in the world that's doing this. And it's what the world needs more of. So I'm sharing today's update. December 30th was a pre-trial. Now there's another date in 2 more weeks. It's not called a pre-trial, it's something else, and then there's a trial. And I just am surprised at how nonchalantly they can just continue things, or hey, I gotta move the date here and there, because you know, Friday they get off on the weekends. It's not their life, it's not their reality. And you know, as I share this message, last year at this time, I never thought I would ever be in this position. I don't send pornographic images to minors. This isn't something that I would ever do. And so the walk that I'm walking isn't just for the abused people, but what about the situation for the people in the future who walk the same walk, who are being accused of something they didn't do, and yet you have to plead to a lesser charge because you're not willing to gamble with your future or your family. The things that matter most to us in life. It's not about protecting them. I mean, for me it is. But for the courts, it was about protecting. They would come back and protect me. But during this time, and my abuser's continuing to, the abuser, he's not mine. He doesn't get that anymore. Nothing's happening to him. So that's today's update. And I'm not quite sure which one's the bigger narcissist, the abuser or the courts. Think about that for a little bit.